Hey, I just finished reading this book right here, and there's a page that I wanted to talk about. So this is a spoiler warning for the book. Basically, the main character, his name is Montag. His wife, Millie, she represents this pure escapist person. Her whole character from the beginning has been somebody who escapes the realities of life through various things. At the beginning, she tried to commit suicide. She goes on to using this thing called the parlor. And we have this world-shattering moment where her husband, Montag, brings in a prohibited item, a book, into her world. I think this book is more of an idea of a taboo concept rather than an actual physical book. And when this comes in, everything changes. Like, she doesn't know what to do. She's, frightened. She's, shocked, right? And this is a moment where she's really tested on what path she wants to go down. Before we get into the path she went down, we have to go down the path that Montag went down. Montag, when faced with this, Plato's cave type situation, he sits there, he receives this, item. He has this Trojan horse, this, virus inside his brain that it cracks him, right? And after that point, he falls on one side. Millie, on the other hand, instead of taking the leap, she's seeing the ice below her is melting. Instead of leaping onto the platform, she retreats onto that ice, tries to go to a less melted part of that ice, right? But she has to make the jump. What happens is she ends up betraying Montag. She ends up running away to another city where she can use her parlor, use her whatever. Later on, when Montag is, when he is discussing, or when he's imagining her situation, when the atomic bomb hits her location, Ray Bradbury, the person who wrote the book, he has a really beautiful poetic statement he made that I think applies to our lives. He says, Montag falling flat, going down. He saw or felt the walls go dark in Millie's face, heard her screaming, because in the millionth part of time left, she saw her own face reflected there in a mirror instead of a crystal ball, and it was such a wildly empty face, all by itself in a room, touching nothing, starved, and eating of itself, that at last she recognized it as her own. So before this point, when she was escaping, when she was doing whatever, she was looking into this crystal ball, and she didn't know who she was, right? Ray in his book uses this idea of mirrors, right? Especially near the end, about finding yourself, understanding yourself, and seeing the truth within yourself, rather than escaping into these different things in life. So Millie, right before her point of death, in the millionth part of time left, when the screen turned off, whatever, in the reflection of that screen, she saw herself. And I think this applies to us as well, that in life we are given a chance to make a decision, right? Do we take the leap? When we're given this moment of oh, my phone died, oh, whatever, it's lagging, right, my video, do we take the decision that, look, we're going to take the leap, we're going to do the uncomfortable thing, we're going to say, to hell with the norms, to hell with whatever we're dealing with, let's jump into it. Because inside us we do know that this is not the way humans are meant to live. We're not meant to be out here like mental slaves, feeding off this random system that's made that us, Gen Z, wherever we grew up on this, dopamine hijacking, A/B tested, video slop, right? We know we're not supposed to do We know we're not supposed to live like this. They're hearing it. We could do that. We could do it Montag. We could ditch it, completely and fully, run away, do whatever the equivalent is in our life. Or we could be like Millie, and we could retreat back into it, and we reach a point where we're a millionth part of a second away from our death, just like Millie. And when we are going to die, we look at the screen, and we see the reflection back, and we see emptiness. We see this thing, this husk of a human, and we're like, that is us. And then finally we realize who we really are before we die. But guess what? It's too late. You should have been who you are before you died, so you could have actually implemented change. So you could have actually done something with it, right? But like Millie, we realize it way too late at the moment of death. And overall, I think it's